Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the online Arabic classes offered by Bayt al-Hikmah in Deoband. This is your brother Mufti Anwar Khan al-Qasmi, the managing director of the institute and the lead teacher in it. We are on page number 73 of Al-Qira'atul al-Wadihah, volume number 1, which is Ad-Darsu al-Thalith wal-Arba'un, the 43rd lesson number 43. Like the previous lessons, we will again revise many different similar concepts which we have already done in previous chapters. For example, in this lesson we will revise Fi'l al-Mudari' and we will revise al-Masadir, the verbal nouns, Mudaf and Mudaf ilayh, and Mubtada and Khabar, and prepositions and adverbs. Though we will be learning a number of concepts which have already been discussed, but the most central focus will be on the use of masadir. The use of masadir, the use of the verbal nouns, occupies the central position in this lesson. So no doubt we have to take into consideration all the important grammatical points we have covered, but as a key point while reading this lesson, we have to keep the concept of verbal nouns, the form and the sigha of verbal nouns, how they are used and what they mean. So the use of verbal nouns is very important in this lesson. So we discussed the concept of al-masdar, or the concept of the verbal noun or the infinitive in 5 chapters. The author has highlighted this concept in 5 chapters. In chapter number 39, you were given some verbal nouns, and then again in chapter 40, you were given some verbal nouns, and in 42, he also again gave many masadir and many verbal nouns, many infinitives to practice. But in lesson number 42 and in lesson number 43, the last of all these chapters, he has highlighted the concept of masdar as the major theme of these 2 lessons. We saw them in 5 lessons, but especially the last 2 chapters, and especially this one, the 43rd one, they discuss the concept, the use and the application of masdar in Arabic grammar. Al-Masdar, I have given a little overview on that in the previous relevant chapter. And now what I would like to add is that Al-Masdar does not have any specific, any particular form when we derive that from the trilateral verbs. In trilateral verbs, this does not have any particular form. In the verbs which are other than trilateral, which fall under the category of the Sulathi Mazid Fi or the Rubai, they have certain forms, they have certain sighas, but in case of trilateral verbs, there is no specific and certain form of al-masdar or the verbal noun. It totally depends on the dictionary or a good teacher who will let you know, who will tell you that this is a masdar. However, Once your level goes up, you advance in your studies, in your study of Arabic grammar, and you master numerous important and major concepts of Arabic grammar at an advanced level. So in that stage, it will become easier for you to control that. There are many patterns, and once you master those patterns, it will become easier for you to guess and understand that this certain verb may have this pattern of this sigha of masdar. So that needs a lot of time. That needs some time to completely grasp this, to completely control that. It is one of the hard things in Arabic to fully grasp the concept of masdar. You can understand the concept, but the form, how to control the form, that is something that needs some time. So anyway, you have to revise all these 5 lessons of Al-Qira'atul al-Wadihah, and you must focus on the use of the masadir and memorize them. Once you memorize about 20 or 30 masdar patterns, verbal noun patterns, so they will give you an insight into the form, into the shape of the other masadir, and it will become easier for you to know, to guess what the masdar of a certain verb may be. This lesson is in a format of conversation. This conversation format makes it more interesting for the student to understand, to interact. Okay. So before we start, let me once again make it clear that when any letter or any of the 3 radicals in an Arabic verb is waw or ya, that is known as mu'tal. In this lesson, we have some verbs which fall under this category. I will explain that inshallah when it comes. Bismillah. Let's move ahead. Majidun. متى تذهب يا خالد إلى البلدة ومتى ترجع منها? Majid said, "O Khalid, when will you go to the city? ومتى ترجع منها? And when will you be back from there?" O Khalid, when are you going, or when will you go to the city? ومتى ترجع منها? And when will you be back from there? Khalid said, عند طلوع الشمس أذهب. At the time of the sunrise, I will go. I will go at the time of the sunrise. In the previous sentence, it was tadhab, and now you see adhab. So tadhab, that is also mudare, and that is wahid hazir, second person, masculine. And adhab, this is wahid mutakallim. وعند غروب الشمس أرجع, and I will be back at the time of the sunset. ذهابي صعب, my going is difficult and my returning is easy. It is difficult for me to go and it is easy for me to get back. So dhahab and ruju' and similarly tulu' and ghurub. There are 4 verbal nouns, 4 masdars in this paragraph. Tulu', ghurub, dhahab and ruju'. Tulu'un meaning sunrise, ghurubun meaning sunset, dhahabun meaning going, ruju'un meaning returning. Tulu' tala'a yatlu'u, and ghurub gharaba yaghrubu, and then dhahab dhahaba yadhabu, ruju' raja'a yarji'u. These verbs, I think, have been repeated several times in this book. Majidun, kayfa tadhhabu ila hunak? Majid said, how do you go there? Bid-darrajati aw bis-sayyarati? How do you go there? By bicycle, aw bis-sayyara, or by car? By bicycle or by car? How do you go there? By bicycle or by car? Khalid said, Arkabu al-arabata waqta al-dhahab. I ride, rakiba yarkabu, sami'a yasma'u, to ride, to mount. I mount the cart وقت الذهاب, at the time of going, وأركب السيارة عند الرجوع, and ride the car at the time of returning. I mount the cart or cab وقت الذهاب, at the time of going, وأركب السيارة عند الرجوع, and ride the car or ride or mount the car in the الرجوع, at the time of returning. Okay, وقت الذهاب, وقت and عند. In this sentence, these two are adverbs. ركوب العربة سهل, mounting the cab is easy, or it is easy to ride the cab. Al-Araba we can translate as cab or cart. وَالنُّزُولُ مِنَ الْعَرَبَةِ سَهْلٌ, it is easy to get out of the cab. It is easy to get out of the cart. So nazala yanzilu, meaning to get out, to get off, to step out, to descend, to come out of something. Majid says, هل الوصول إلى البلدة ضروري في الصباح? Is it necessary to reach the city in morning? Is it necessary to reach the city in morning? Khalid says, نعم, yes. لي في البلدة دكان, وفتح الدكان في الصباح والجلوس فيه وبيع الخضر لازم فالوصول لازم. I have a shop. لي في البلدة دكان. I have a shop in the city. وفتح الدكان في الصباح والجلوس فيه, and opening the shop in morning, والجلوس فيه, and sitting there, وبيع الخضر, and selling the vegetables, لازم is necessary, فالوصول لازم, so it is necessary to reach there. فالوصول لازم, so it is necessary to reach there. So you can see Fath and Julus and Bay' and Wasul, all these four are masdars, verbal nouns. Okay. Now we have tamreen ala al-af'al ma'a al-masadir. This tamreen is about the verbs with masdars. Dhahaba yadhhabu fataha yaftahu. Dhahaba madi, yadhhabu mudari, al-dhahab verbal noun masdar. Fataha yaftahu, al-fathu. Al-fathu is the masdar verbal noun. Fataha, and fataha is madi, yaftahu is mudari, and this means to open. Tala'a yatla'u, this is fataha yaftahu, and the verbal noun is at-tulu', to rise, sunrise. Tala'a yatla'u meaning to rise. Gharaba yaghrubu, al-ghurub. Gharaba madi, yaghrubu mudari, al-ghurub, this is the verbal noun, and this means set in. Jalasa yajlisu al-julus. Jalasa madi, yajlisu mudari, al-julus, the act of sitting, and this is from daraba yadribu. And nazala yanzilu an-nuzul. An-nuzul meaning dismounting, getting out or getting off. And nazala is madi, yanzilu is mudari, zaraba yazribu, on the pattern of zaraba yadribu. An-nuzul is the masdar verbal noun. Ba'a is madi, yabi'u mudari, al-bay'u is the masdar verbal noun, and this means to sell. Ba'a and wasala, these two fall under the category of mu'tal verbs. Mu'tal is any verb, again I am repeating, which has waw or ya in any of the three radicals. A radical is one of the three letters in thulathi verbs in Arabic. And wasala yasilu al-wusul. Wasala yasilu al-wusul. Wasala is madi, yasilu is mudari. Al-wusul is the masdar, the verbal noun meaning reaching. Raja'a yarji'u ar-ruju'u. Raja'a yarji'u ar-ruju'u. Ar-ruju', this is the masdar. Raja'a is madi, yarji'u is mudari, meaning to get back, like on the pattern of daraba yadribu. Rakiba yarkabu ar-rukub. Rakiba yarkabu ar-rukub. Rakiba is madi, yarkabu is mudari, ar-rukub, this is verbal noun masdar. علامات الفاعل في الماضي في آخره. علامات الفاعل في الماضي في آخره. The signs of subject in past tense are at the end, at the end of the word. For example, ta with sakin, ta with fatha, ti with kasra, tu with dhamma. These are the signs. So these signs are attached to the end of the madi, past tense. And these signs are basically subject in the verb. And the alamatul fa'il fil mudari fi awwal al-madi, the signs of the subject in mudari fi awwal al-madi, they are basically attached to the beginning of the madi. For example, you have dhahaba, so you say yadhabu, so you simply attached ya to dhahaba and it became mudari. So alamatul fa'il fil mudari, the signs of the subject in case of mudari, in case of present tense, they are attached to the beginning of the past tense. For example, ya, ta, and then ta, and ya, noon, and alif. So these are different signs of mudari, and they are attached to the beginning of the past tense to convert it into mudari. Now we move ahead to the next page, 74. On page number 74, we have exercise Tamreen number 1. Wasuli ila al-madrasati lazimun. It is necessary for me to reach the school. Wusul, this is masdar, verbal noun. Wuqufi ala al-shajari sa'bun. It is difficult for me to stand by the tree. Tulu'u al-shamsi jamilun. The sunrise is beautiful. Tilawatul Qur'ani lazimatun. Reciting the Quran is necessary. It is necessary to recite the Quran. Ibadatullahi zaruriyatun. It is necessary to worship Allah. What is important in this tamreen, in this exercise, is to take care of 3 points. First of all, this exercise is about the masdar, the verbal nouns. Secondly, in this exercise, mudaf and mudaf ilayh structures have been frequently used. Third one is that the first part, which is mubtada, and the second part, which is khabar, they both must be compatible in terms of, for example, gender and other required things. Okay. So, ibadatullahi zaruriyatun. It is necessary to worship Allah. Ibadah, this is muannath, feminine. So, zaruriyatun, the predicate is also feminine. Shukrullahi wajibun. It is necessary to thank Allah. Thanking Allah is necessary. Fahmud darsi zaruriyun. It is necessary to understand the lesson. Understanding of the lesson is necessary. Rukubu sayyarati sahlun. It is easy to have a car ride. It is easy to ride a car. It is easy to ride a car. Or mounting the car is easy. And now actually we picked these verbs, zaruri, sa'ab, zaruriya, shams, lazim, lazima, sahl, wajib. I picked from this to fill appropriately in all the previous sentences. So in the first one, you feel lazim. In the second one, sa'ab. And then third one, ash-shams. And then lazima. And then zaruriya. And then wajib. And then zaruri. And then sahl. Like this. Okay, now you have tamreen number 2. In tamreen number 2, there are questions. Hal ta'rifu rukuba. Now you have to attach this. Al-araba, al-sayyara, al-darraja. Hal ta'rifu rukuba al-arabati, rukuba al-sayyarati, rukuba al-darrajati. Do you know how to ride a car or a bicycle? Hal yajuzu tarku al-darsi, al-qira'ati, al-kitabati, lit-tilmizi. So after tark, you have to add these nouns. Hal yajuzu tarku al-darsi wal-qira'ati wal-kitabati lit-tilmiz. Is it permissible, is it allowed for a student to ignore the class, reading and writing? هل يجوز ترك الصوم والصلاة والعبادة للمسلم? Is it permissible, is it allowed for a Muslim to ignore the fasting, praying and worship? يجب عليه الحضور في الفصل المدرسة الدرسي. يجب عليه الحضور. He must attend, or it is compulsory for him to attend the class, the school and the lesson. يجب عليها الجلوس في البيت والحجرة والمطبخ. She must sit in house, in the room, in the kitchen. يجب عليك الذهاب إلى المسجد السوق الدكان. You must go to the mosque, to the market, الدكان, the shop. يجب عليك النوم في الفناء الفصل الحجرة. You must sleep, or you should sleep, in the courtyard, the classroom, الحجرة and the room. يجب علي الخروج من السوق المسجد البيت. I must leave the market, the mosque, البيت, the house. من السوق من المسجد من البيت. Okay. وقوفه عندي, his standing with me. يجوز is fine, is okay. يجوز and لا يجوز, we have to pick any of these two to fit it here. وقوفه عندي يجوز, his standing with me is permissible. وقوفي عندها, my standing with her is not permissible. وقوفي عندها لا يجوز. نظرك إليها, you're looking at her, لا يجوز, is not allowed. نظرك إليها, you're looking at her, is allowed. نظرها إليك, her looking at you, لا يجوز, is not allowed. نظرها إليك, her looking at you, يجوز, is allowed. So alhamdulillah, we completed this lesson, and with this lesson we have completed Al-Qira'atul Wadihah volume 1. Alhamdulillah, this was a great journey. We learned a lot, we studied a lot in this book, and this was a wonderful time for all of us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.